Recording start. All right. So, any questions about the previous lectures
No,
about the list view and about the database? Did you take a look at the codes and try some code on your computer?
yeah, a little
Uh,
bit.
Good, great. So you have Android Studio set up and up
Yeah,
and running on your system.
I have.
Great, great. Glad to hear it. Because development takes a lot of practice and a lot of experience and discovering things. And I think the best way to learn is to discover things.
Yeah,
Although education is important, but also sometime discovering things has a very good effect, and it helps you learn more dynamically and makes you more enthusiastic about the topic that you are learning. So today, if you are interested, we are going to talk about location and map. We will add the map capability to our application so that our user will be able to choose a location, or let's say in the first step, we will add the capability for the user to add a geographical location for every contact that they are adding to the application. So, first of all, let's add the library that we need to add to our application in order to work with location and with maps. Seems like my connection is not very good. I hope the recording is acceptable. So, the library that we will use is called Osmdroid. And OSM refers to Openstreetmap. Openstreetmap is an open source map system that allows you to freely use maps with different capabilities and different UIs, and you it without paying money to any external services, any third party services like Google or Google Map. So that's called OpenStreetMap or OSM, which is used in many uh, popular applications and services like Snap, like Ballad, and other products that are using this free and open source service. One of the good things about OSM or OpenStreetMap is that you can download it and install and set it up on your own server so that you are not dependent on any third party map provider like Google Map or Bing Maps or any other service, because you can have all the raw material or tiles, let's say. The technical term for the format that stores geographical information is called tiles. So maps are stored in tiles, and you can easily, and let's say not very easily, you can set up your own map server on your server so that your application only depends on your own server. And also, even better than that, you can customize the maps the way you want. You can change the UI of the map. You can uh, change how your maps look and then deploy it on your server so that your users see a special type of map that just shows your own brand and makes you distinguished. So let's see how we can add OSM or OpenStreetMap to Android. There are a couple of libraries that allow us to add OSM to Android. One of them is Osmdroid that we will discuss in this lecture. I have opened the GitHub page for this project. The main page is github.com/osmdroid/osmdroid. If you open it, the README part tells you how to add it to your project. So as it says, you need to add the Gradle dependency of this library to your project. First, you have to make sure that Maven Central is added on the repositories. Maven Central. This is the project that we have worked on so far. Now I'm going to open build.gradle under the app module. Uh, Before adding the dependency here, in the dependencies block, I need to go to the main build.gradle, the project-wide build.gradle. I have to open it, and I have to make sure that Maven Central is here. I paste Maven Central here, and then I copy the dependency of the library, compile org.osmdroid. I copy it back to Android Studio and paste it here. But something important here is that compile is deprecated. Compile was used before implementation was introduced and became the industry standard for adding dependencies to Gradle files. So Android recommends replacing all compile usages to implementation. Whenever you add a library, it's good to use implementation in front of its name. And now the version. The version part, we should replace it with the exact version number. We can find the exact version number from the releases section or here. 618, as you can see. It has a label that says latest. This is the latest version we need to add to our application, 6.1.8. Once you add it, press sync now and let Android Studio add the library to your project. While the library is being added and the project is synced with its dependencies, let's talk about the permissions that we might need to add to our application. What permissions do you think we will need to add to the project?
Access to location, the user's
Very
location,
good, very good,
or the GPS on the device.
very good. Yes. What else?
Network would be. Uh,
Ah,
I
network.
think we
Yes,
added
very
network.
good.
We added network last session.
Yeah, we have already added network. Yes. So we only need to add location because we have added intent before. So I say users permission, Android name, Android permission, access, access background location or foreground location. In fact, we don't need background location. We only need course location, which means an estimate of the user's current location, not the exact location. But if we want to know their exact location, we need to add another permission, which is Android.permission access find location. All right. So now we have added the required permissions and we have added the map library. Let's add an activity on which we will have our map display to the user. So I right click on the app folder and select new activity and let's say empty activity. Let's give it a name that reflects its usage. Map activity. Oh, what happened? Map activity. Activity map, yes, and finish. Now that I have added this activity, I need to design its layout, its activity map, in a way that it has a map to display the location. Let's split the view, close the attributes pane, and this is the root of my layout. Inside that, I'm going to add a map view. A map view is a special view that is provided by the new library that I just added to the project. By Osmdroid, I mean. So if I start typing map view, it will show me the exact package name and the class address org.osmdroid.views.mapview. I press enter and it's added to the layout. So for its width and for now I can give 400 depth, but most probably I'm gonna change it later. I need to give it some constraints, you know. Give me a suggestion on how to give it an automatic constraint.
Uh,
I'm going to constrain it from the sides and from the top in an automatic way, not manually.
okay.
In case we haven't talked about it, in order to give it automatic constraint, to give automatic constraints to a view, we select it first, and then we press the magic wand here. The magic stick or wand, I'm not sure. Wand meaning the pronunciation wand, the magic wand. Yeah. By pressing the magic wand, it will infer the constraints. As you can see,
Yeah.
it has constraints from 3 sides now. Let's give it one more from the bottom. And not bad. In order to get the whole space available, I'm gonna give its height as 0 depth, which means match constraint, and it allows the view to have as much height as possible and allowed by its constraints. Also, let's give it an ID. It already has a good ID, map view, not bad, so we don't need to change it. Now, uh, I've got an idea. I'm going to change the database structure, which you know we created in previous lectures. We have a database and we have a table for person that has information like the user's name, full name, phone number, and to that information we can add uh, one more column, which is location. And for location, we can store a pair of information that signifies or shows the location of user on the map. So tell me, how do we specify an object's location in geography?
Yeah, with coordinates.
What
You mean
information do we
coordinates?
need? Yeah, very good. Yeah, we need geographical coordinates. And geographical coordinates, the most important geographical coordinates are longitude and latitude, right?
Yeah,
Longitude and latitude. The longitude seems like is an imaginary line starting from the North Pole going as far as to the South Pole, and the latitude is the one, and seems like latitude has a lot of these. Yeah, it's an imaginary line wrapping around and going from something we can say from uh, left to right or from east to west, something like that, and wrapping around the sphere, around the globe. So after this small introduction, we know we know that a location is specified using 2 points, which means the longitude and the latitude. We can store that using a pair like that. For example, I can say my location is a pair like 30, 23, 54. This is a pair. The first one is longitude and the second one is latitude. So this is the way we decide to use it. We can change the order, it doesn't matter. We can first say latitude and then longitude. But we create a contract for ourselves that the first one, let's consider the first one as longitude and the second one as latitude. So now that we know this, let's change the structure of our database. We have our database inside the model package, contact DB helper. So I open that, and the code that creates the table, look at that. We have full name and phone, and now I'm going to add another field, another column, let's say. Let's call it location. Is it good? I save it as location. You hear me?
yeah, I hear you.
Good. Also, let's change the P0 to DB to give it a better name, because P0 doesn't show what it exactly does. But when it's DB, we know that it's database. It's just a name, you know. So we create the table here by adding a location to the list of columns. And also for the default person that is added to the database, let's add a location. Let's say not this way. Since this location is going to be like a pair, I'm gonna get the location of California, for example. Geographical location, coordinates, let's say. Give us the coordinates. Yes, it gave us the coordinates. So the first one, copy the first one as the longitude. Add a comma between longitude and latitude, and at the latitude as the second part. All right. Now Let's uh, now that we have location added, we need to make some changes to our list. We are showing the list of users, the list of contacts in list view. You
Yeah,
remember it, right?
yeah, I remember.
We have it in which activity have we defined our list view in? Contact adapter, main activity, map activity, profile activity. Which one is it?
Uh, m-
It's the main activity,
Main activity.
in fact, because we added the list view here. All right, we have list view here, but the list view itself has several items, has an item that is used, that item is used to create every row of our list. And we defined it as list item, if you remember. List item. As you can see, name and phone number. We need to add another field to that. So I'm gonna change this linear layout a little bit. Let's add a third one. This is linear layout. Let's decide whether to add it after name and family name, after phone number, or below these two. If we want to add them below these two, we need one more linear layout, you know.
Yeah,
But putting linear layouts inside each other is not a good idea and is not recommended by Android. But since we don't have a lot of views, it's probably okay. So after I'm gonna put these two linear layouts, these two views inside another linear layout. Let's say for width, match parent, and for height, wrap content. I put the two views inside that linear layout, and I add a third view. The third view will be a text view, right? It's supposed to show our location. Yes,
yeah. Are we
it's
going
supposed
to
to show our location.
add the map view under that, or
No, no, it's just going to show the coordinates. It's a
okay?
simple one. It's just going to show the two coordinates. So text view has an ID. Let's say location, and it has width and height. For width, layout width, we say match parent, and for height, again wrap content, layout height, wrap content. Let's also make sure that the first linear layout has a horizontal orientation. I think it has. No, this has to be vertical. The main linear layout has to be vertical. Vertical. And this one has to be horizontal, the inner linear layout. Android colon orientation, it's horizontal, yeah. It's horizontal. The other one, text view, also has to have a text. It's good to have a text here. Location. Also, let's center it. Android text alignment center. Yes. Good. Also for these items, let's give them some padding. Some padding like colon padding. 8 depth is good. To have some space between the corners, between the sides, and the content. All right. Also, after making the change to our UI, we need to update our code that creates this list. Which code does create the list for us? The code that creates the list is contact adapter, right?
Yeah.
It's called contact adapter. And whenever we set the text for full name and phone number, we also need to set the text for location. So we need to first find the location from this view. ID is location. So we need to find the view by ID. Its type is, we can specify the type here, but to make it similar to the above lines, let's specify it on the right. New view by ID. The type is text view. Then r.id dot location. Our ID is location. All right. Now after finding it, we need to set its text. Location.text equals contacts location contacts position, which means item with at this index location. Android Studio doesn't understand location here for every contact. Do you know why? It doesn't
Uh,
understand location for every contact.
okay.
Every
Why?
contact is an object. Every contact is an object from the contact class. We created a contact class, right?
Yes.
And the contact class had members like full name and phone. So these two are defined for it, but location is not. So let's define it. In addition to phone, let's also add the location, our location string is the type. And now it understands location. Here, again, we need to find val. Let's use val because we don't need to change it later. The location is not to be changed later, the location variable. So we define the location again in this block from the convert view that find view by ID. Its type is text view r.id. Tell me,
Uh,
what is the ID of location?
ID of
Look
location.
at that. Look at that.
Yeah. ID location.
It's location.
Yeah.
So location we have, access to location, and we set its text, location, text, contacts, position, which means find the contact at this position of the list, at this index of the list, and then return the member named location. All right. And finally, return the convert view. So you remember our discussion about new view and convert view.
Uh, conver-
When we create the list, when we are working with the list, we create a list. This list actually does get created. Every item of the list is created every time we scroll the list. Sometimes we scroll it from the bottom of the screen, for example, and a new item has to be created when you scroll from the bottom and to the upwards. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? When you scroll the list upward, we need to create a new item for the list. But for example, when you scroll this item a little bit lower or a little bit up, it doesn't need to be created. It is the same item, but only the data items change. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
So we say the old view, we use the old view in this case. We use the same view. But in the other case, we create a new view from scratch. So we have two cases. And that's the reason why we have an if here. We say if convert view is null, which means if we want to create a new view, then we create a new view and work on that. If we already have a view, we go to else and we work on that view like this. All right. You can study it more and get exactly how it works and what it does. And uh, you will have to deal a lot with list view and recycler view, which we will discuss also in another lecture, because recycler view is better than list view and is more optimal and in fact more efficient than list view.
yeah.
All right, I think we have set the required fields. We changed the database, we changed the list view item, and also we changed the code that creates the list items. Um, could we have a small break about 5 minutes?
Okay, it's
And
okay.
after that, we can continue the class. Yeah, I think it's good to have a small break. Yeah. Hi, are you there?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Sorry. So, did you take a break?
Yeah,
Did you have a coffee? Great. So, let's continue our discussion. Now we are going to actually work with the map. In our map activity, we are going to receive some information about the map, about the location, and display it on the map. So, first, we go to the wiki of Osmdroid to see how to use this library. In fact, every library we add to our Android projects often have some documentation, have some documents that teach us how to use it. Here, it has a list of these topics, starting with the preliminary topics like how to add it to the project, and then how to work with different components. How to use the Osmdroid library. I opened the link under usage guides. First, it tells you to add the location related stuff. And also, if you need to store some map information on your storage in your phone, you also add the right external storage. But we are not going to do that for now, so we don't need that permission. All right. Online tile provider. Also, it says for online tile provider. There's one extra permission that we need to add, access network state. This is used by online tile provider that we are using. So I'm gonna add this one, access network state. Android manifest uses permission, Android name, Android permission, access network state. So when we open a list item, first we will go to a details activity to show information about a user. So let's create a detail activity to do that. Activity, new activity, empty activity. I call it details activity. I open it. Right. In the details activity, we show users information like it's their full name and their phone number and their location. Since I want to make it editable, I add them as plain text or edit text. Another button for location. No, you know what? Let's add
yeah.
infer constraint for this. I selected and magic wand, not very intelligent inference by Android Studio. Let's manually correct it. Let's change the text of this one to location. I hate caps lock. Location. And remove the text for the first one. Let's give it an ID of full name. Yeah, let's update the references. Let's give it a hint. full name, and remove the text. Let's give it a hint of phone. Come on, phone. The input type will be phone number. Phone, apply, and the location. For location, the text is all right, but the ID, let's change it to location. And also let's add a button that saves this information. Yes. In fact, I'm gonna add it to the bottom of the screen. Save changes. And ID save. Also, I'd like to add an icon in the beginning of this button so that it shows location for it. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Let's add a drawable so that the icon of the location is displayed on this. In order to do that, let's create a new vector asset. Let's select location, search for location. Not bad. This is good. But if I search for drawable left or drawable start is better. See location on. You see, it's beautiful.
yeah.
It now shows location. So it shows location. We are going to pass in the information here, but first let's also add a top padding for the layout of our full name. 32. Good. Back to our list view, which means main activity. To quickly search for a class, press Ctrl N. And now we are here. When an item is clicked, what are we going to do when an item is clicked? We defined it on our list. I think it was somewhere around here. Set on item click listener. On item click listener. And somewhere we have an error. Oh, yes, we changed the order. So here, server contacts add. We also need to add the location. We need to add the location that we received from the server. So an extra information that we get from server for location. New contact, get string location, get the location also, and the error. There's one more here. Yes, we need to pass in location. This is where we queried those information about contacts from the database. We queried row ID, full name, phone, and also location. We need to query that as well. And for location, location, we need to define it. Value location, cursor. What is the type of location in the database? It is string, right?
Yeah.
Because we saved it as text, column index or throw. What is the column name for location? It's location,
Location.
right?
Yes.
Yes. So we read these informations from the database. We create new items, new contacts with them, and we add them to our list of contacts. All right. But something that I'm a little bit worried about is the refresh one, because our server is not running at the moment. Since our server is not running, we will have a crash. For now, I'm going to remove the swipe refresh layout set on refresh listener, this part. Let's comment out this part, the networking part, because we are focusing on location right
Yeah.
now. Is it the end of? Yes. From this line to this line. This is the code that handles swipe refresh and sending requests to the server and receiving the result. Oh my god, what a mess here. Binding fab set unclick listener. What happened to this? Oh, fixed. I needed to comment out this part as well. So I think we don't have problem here, but we need some part to open an item that is clicked. Set unclick listener for the list. We had it somewhere at the top, I guess. No, we don't have it. I add it. So our list, our list name is, come on, list adapter, contact list adapter, contact list view. So this is a local variable that is only known inside this update list. I need to move it out and to the class level, define it here. So I say latent it var m list. Its type is list view, and I define it here. I say find the list m list activity binding dot list. Now that I have the list, I can set an onclick listener on it. I can say mlist.set on item click listener. It gives me the list, the clicked list, the view that was clicked, and also the item that was clicked. Yes. Click listener, adapter view. Let's use this information. This is the index one, and this is the only thing that we currently need. So let's read the information from that part. When an item is clicked, we are going to open the details activity about that contact and show the information. So I'm going to say start activity. What do we use inside start activity?
Uh,
Another, when we want to go to another activity. How do activities communicate with each other? They
uh,
use intent, right?
yeah, intent.
val, I create an intent, I name it val detail intent, and create a new intent. The intent is from this activity to another activity. So I say from this activity, go to what is the target activity? Details activity. So do we need to pass in some information? Yes, we need to pass in some information. So we pass that information by using apply. I get the created intent and I add some more information to it. I say apply to the intent, like put extra location. I'm gonna send only the location. The value of the location will be uh, let's say we will need to read that from context list. Our context list is, oh, seems like we don't have a global variable for context. The context is defined inside update list. You know, these two, both of these have to be defined at the top in order to be accessible inside every method.
Yeah.
Great. Hmm. List view, contact list. We have the list view, contact list. So let's name this contact list. Uh, contact list. List is good, not bad. And for the contacts, val contacts mutable. Yeah, this is also good. M contacts. I rename it to M contacts by pressing Shift and F6. Good. We created some complaints for Android Studio here because it doesn't have access to contact list M list. Now it is called M list. All right. So start activity with the past information for the location, send the location that is stored in M contacts with the index of I. So put extra, what is this error? String. M contacts, yes. M contacts location. We need to access the location field of that class. So for start activity, we pass in the created intent. And this will start our new activity. But since we are defining our list early on inside the onCreate, we need to initialize it. We need to initialize it with update list. So let's do a call to update list. Let's make a call to update list, binding that root. I need to move these parts after set content view. This way we make sure that the view of our activity has been initialized, because we need to show something on the screen in order to be able to work with its members, you know. So after this, we also don't need to use swipe refresh, doesn't hurt. Leave it alone. Update list, once update list. All right. Yes, we have a call to update list. We have a call to the update list. So we don't need this update list. Now, guess what? What we are
Yeah.
going to do after sending this information to detail activity. We need to show that information inside detail activity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we create a binding here, and what is the name of the layout for detail activity? It's activity details. So we create a binding with the name of activity details binding dot inflate. We pass in layout inflator, inflate, inflate. Yeah, that's it. It's created the binding. It creates the binding, and we receive an intent giving information. Val input, val input intent, and we even don't need it to define, and we don't need to define a new intent because we have access to the received intent. So we say val full name is intent get a string extra. We send the full name with full name, and phone with get a string extra phone. Did we send full name and phone? We didn't send full name and phone. Yes,
Yeah.
we only
Yeah.
sent the location. So we get back to add those information to put extra full name acts I dot full name, put extra phone and contacts I phone. All right, let's run it. I really
We had
hope
some
that it
crashes from last
launches.
session. You remember?
Yeah, it was not important. I looked into it. We needed to clear the database and start again because we made some changes to the database, and after that the application was crashed because the first elements was somehow null. I don't know why null was
Yeah.
saved, the first item, and it caused the application to crash. After I cleared the cache of the application, you know how to clear the cache of a certain application.
Yeah, I know, but
You
not
go
in
to,
Android Studio.
no, not in Android Studio. It works the same. You go to your phone or to the emulator and clear the
Yeah,
cache,
clear the
or
cache.
change, yeah, or you change and increase the number of your database version. You know, here we have a version when we create the database version 1. If we increase it to 2, then the database will be cleared, will be dropped, and a new database will be created. So it was not a serious problem. So let's see. Oh, we have crash. All right. Has no column named. Hmm. the database class. Look at that. Look at that stupid statement. We need to use location here. This is the names of the columns and the values come here.
Yeah.
All right, you see, now it shows the location as well. So let's add a new user like John Doe and the phone number, but it doesn't have a location. Not serious right now, not a big issue. Location must not be null. Yes, we didn't enter location. So for add activity, add contact activity, let's also add the location part too. Our layout, where did it go? Contact, add contact. I remove this constraint. I add a text view. Sorry, I add an edit text, plain text as location. Let's give it a hint. The end of phone. Start to phone start. Yes. Location will be the ID. Yes, update. So the binding will now say, we also check that location is not null. Location dot text is empty. And we display a notice to the user to fill in some information. And also, other than that, we create location, binding that location dot text string. We return that result intent dot put extra. We return location. Now that we receive the location information as well in the main activity, in on activity result, we get it here, val location, data, get a string extra. Its name is location. We get the location, we put inside the database. With this. All right. Next time we read those information from the database and we display it and we add it to our list. For that, we create an adapter with it, which in turn will create our list view. So when an item is clicked, we will go to the details activity and see the details of that.
Yeah, it crashed again.
No, it's running. It's about to run. Let's pray it will not crash this time. Oh, our pray didn't work. So update list must not be null again. It's not.
Maybe you need to clear the cache again.
Uh, yes, I guess you're right. Let's update the version number of the database. Yes. All right. It shows the information. Let's receive those informations in details activity and use it. Details activity. Yeah, we received them, but we didn't use them. Binding dot full name dot text will be full name. Come on, to string. What are you talking about? It doesn't accept. The text is full name, okay? What's the problem? Editable text, set text. It's like we need to call set text. Binding set text. Binding dot. Oh, we didn't set ID for phone. Activity details. Yes, it doesn't have an ID. Update. This one is location, correct. Location dot set text. Set text location. Binding dot phone dot set text phone. And also we have a button. Binding dot save. No, not save. Location dot set on click listener. If it is clicked, we need to split its components to longitude and latitude and send it to our map activity. So I say longitude value, longitude. Let's split that location split. Split. And what does it return to us? It should return a list of strings. So val location parts and val longitude. Our longitude will be location. You know what the first one is? You know this one, what this one is? This is a list that
Yeah.
the first item will be the longitude and the second one will be latitude. Location, parts, 0, list. Come on. Allow the type list, valid latitude, location parts, 0, string. This is a string, but save call. Yeah. We need to use get to make sure that it doesn't result in null. And the second one is 1. The index is 1. Also, we need to cast it to double. Can we? No, not this way. Double parse double. Come on, I need to parse in as double. I need to cast the string to double. Double, or to double. Yeah, it gives me double. Let's make it save call. Great. Now we can save this in an intent and show to and send to our map activity. Map intent from this activity to map activity, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's add some information, including these two. Longitude, put extra. Longitude. For longitude, I pass in this longitude, and for put extra latitude, I send latitude. Great. But I have a suggestion. Let's make sure that we are sending thing. If these two are null, we need to make sure that we always send something. Let's try this. Start activity, map intent. All right. Let's go to map activity and display our map. Map activity. I forgot to set content view binding dot root. And here as well, let's create a binding for our map. Valid binding activity map binding dot inflate layout inflator. All right. Set content view. Set content view binding dot root. And we have our map. We need to initialize our map this way. First, we need a context, and then we need to get an instance with these settings. So first, context, valid context. Actually, we don't need to define a variable for it because we already have access to it. Configuration, get instance, load. Configuration dot get instance let's import it from OSM, get instance, load. Load requires the application context and preferences, get shared preferences, get default shared preferences. This gets access to the preferences of Android for our application. Get shared preferences. Shared preferences. Get shared preferences. Let's save the information about our application inside the file named phonebook. Phonebook app. And the private mode. Mode private. All right. We now have the configuration. Set content view, we already did it. And our map. Let's define our map. I defined the map as a global variable inside our class. With latent var mmap map view mmap binding dot map view. And then I specify the source of the tiles for my application. I say map set tile source. Map set tile source as the source of the tiles. Tile source factory mapnik. You know, there are several types of tile sources. The popular one is mapnik. It's a system of creating maps. We use that one. And then we need to display the location that was sent to us with here we can do that. Val longitude intent get double extra longitude. Great, I can get a default location. The default location we set for California, it was inside this class. This is longitude, latitude, intent. That get double extra latitude. Now I need to tell my map to show the location with these coordinates. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Val map point. This point requires us to create a geopoint. Geopoint. You know, this is using new because this is Java code, but we are using new. All right, let's pass in longitude and latitude. And now we also need a map controller. Map controller. So let's create a controller, valid controller. map controller. uh, and then I say move the controller to this point, set center, tell me what to type here, give me a
Yeah, I have
location,
location.
map point, right? Because
Yeah,
I'm telling the map to go to this point. You know, this is a very rough example to show you how this map works, but it's quite easy to work with Osmdroid because it's a very nice library and you can easily get started using it. And in my opinion, it's even easier than Google Maps. You know, you see
yeah,
its location
I
is
see
shown
it.
here. When I click it, it has to load the map for me. We have to wait a little bit to make sure that our map is loaded. The first time, often it takes some time to load. Let's go back and come again. It has you know, it has a very small zoom. So let's also change the zoom value to
Yeah,
built in. Let's set the zoom map, set zoom. Set zoom is not working. Looks like it has been deprecated. Set zoom. Zoom level double. Set zoom bounding. Zoom controller. Zoom controller. M controller dot set zoom. Yes, set zoom is called on the controller, not on the map view. 9.5. Run it again. First we set the zoom level and then we take it to the level to the location that we want. You see the map is loading
yeah,
and it's the location that we gave it. If we are lucky, this is the location of California that we sent to it, and we can debug to make sure. And if we wait a little bit more, we can make sure that it's loading fine. It's the location that we requested. It's not California, it's somewhere like China.
they probably got the Chinese California.
Yeah, it mistook it. It's not very accurate, you know.
Yeah,
It has a little bit
that's the other side of the word.
accuracy, little bit accuracy problem. Some rough location. Yes, it's China, definitely. Why this happened? Let's increase the zoom a little bit. 10.5. Yes,
Yeah, it
it loves
shows China.
China.
Yeah,
So it's bad. Let's debug it to see what these values are exactly. But before that, let's try these values to see if they are really California. Maybe we are making a mistake. Location. Are these coordinates really for California? Yes, it's California. No, it's not. Google deceived us. Google
yeah.
gave us the wrong answer. California coordinates. 367783. 1194179 is correct. We don't love California. Let's move to Los Angeles. Hmm. In our database, also, let's increase the number. Is our details activity working correctly? In our details activity, we receive location. Okay. And again, we get location parts, longitude and latitude from that location. And we send them to the map activity. Seems correct.
You can use debug.
Run. Hi,
Hi.
sorry, and thank you for letting me know about this problem. I guess we are passing the parameters in the wrong order to our map activity. And why is that?
Yeah,
If
I
we
don't
look,
have your screen.
okay, I'm gonna share it. You see my screen?
Yeah, I see.
Map activity, geopoint, latitude, longitude, not longitude, latitude. Here's the problem, you
That
know?
was a big problem.
Longitude.
Just
It
the
made the,
other
the
side of
address a
the
little
world.
bit inaccurate. Yeah, it's lucky. We are lucky not to be pilots.
Yeah,
Yeah, we might take people to another destination. All right. This happens, software is full of these
yeah.
mistakes. Which city are we going to see? Which state of US? Los Angeles, right? Because this is the location of
Yeah,
Los Angeles. The connection is slow a little bit. Open it again. Please load it quickly. This is basically how it works,
yeah,
because now we know that we are passing the information in correct order. First, we create a controller for the map, and we set the map's controller. We use that controller to control the map, for example, to set its zoom and also to move to a certain location. This library has a lot of capabilities. You can go to an exact location. Also, it has some animations and it has a lot of advanced features that you can explore and see for yourself and create a map-based application. But just to get familiar with how maps work, this is a good introduction. Also, if you really need to get exact location of a user, you need to ask the permission of the user. You remember we had a session about permissions
yeah,
in which we asked the user to give us the permission. So if you need to really know the exact location of the user, in your activity, you need to add the code, for example, in your map activity. You need to ask the user for the permission in an explicit way, and if the user gives you permission, you should show the map, and other way otherwise, if the user doesn't allow you, you can show an estimate location or just show nothing. You can
yeah,
just show a blank screen and tell the user that you cannot serve them because you need their exact location. Let's see if it was loaded. We have some network problem. Let's close this app and open it again. It was phone book. Now we are in fact getting the location, the correct location. But what
yeah.
is the problem? Let's reduce the zoom to 9.5.
Well, at least we know it's not China. Definitely not China.
Yeah, yes. Fortunately, it's not China this time. We had an improvement. Let's see if we are connected. Come on. No, thank you. Yes, we are connected. You know what? I think China is a good place.
Yeah, it was at least showing
You should
some
be happy.
progress.
Yeah, Ch- China is not bad. I should have entered the location of China in the first place.
Yeah, it's loading now.
Yeah,
It's
now we are in
Russia.
Russia. Yeah, it doesn't love the US.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with the US, but it's very slow. The rendering is very slow. Let's try it again. Are we on land or sea?
Yeah, I think it's C.
Yeah, seems like so. You know what? Let's use the coordinates that we used. California. Right. Also for the database helper, contact DB helper. 3670. Increase the version number. Stop the emulator and run it again. Hmm, what's really happening? The geopoint receives the latitude and longitude, so we're giving them correctly. Geopoint. How about a location? Valid location, P location. No, latitude and longitude. Let's stop it. Do some debugging. Location parts correct. If sorry, sorry for
Hi.
disconnecting. No, I changed this method to animate too.
Yeah, can you share your screen?
Sure. I'm pretty sure that the location is wrong. This location is wrong because it always takes us to a wrong place. Geopoint, altitude, latitude, longitude, altitude. We don't need the altitude. And maybe the location is right, but this emulator doesn't work well. Doesn't render this part for some reason, you know? It
Yeah,
always has problem in rendering this part, or the server has some problems too. in sending these tiles, the tiles for these parts, because we are sure that we are using this correct longitude, latitude, and the correct format. So, do you have any questions? This
No,
class, in fact,
no.
took a little longer than it
Yeah, it all.
should take. So I hope that it was useful.
Yeah, it
It was
was awesome.
about map and an introduction to maps and how to add map functionality to your applications. So I hope you enjoyed it and
Yeah,
have a
thank
good
you.
evening.
You too.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Goodbye. See you.
Goodbye. See you.